Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of the Instahyre Roundtable. And today we have a very special edition of the Roundtable. And the discussion, the conversation today is one a lot of product companies, recruiters, and founders have been waiting for. So we are here to launch the Product Tech Paycheck 2025. And isn't a survey or guesswork. It's based on real data from our platform, and we have been scrutinizing around 10,000 plus verified offers across tech roles on different roles, and we have a very special topic today for that: how product companies win tech talent in 2025. So to help us unpack what this means, I have got three incredible leaders with me today. So first, we'll start with Vijay Arcot, and he has spent nearly 2 decades in building and scaling tech teams, and he's been deeply involved in shaping how teams hire and grow. So, Vijay, over to you. A little bit about yourself and your recruitment journey, and please.
Thanks, Abhijit. I'm very happy to be here, right? With Praful and Samir, right? So, a quick introduction. As you said, I've been in the industry for close to 2 decades now, and I've worked both on the sides, right? The consulting as well as in the corporate. I've been with the product as well as with the GCCs, right? And I'm now mentoring a couple of GCC leaders in terms of talent acquisition. How do they do workforce planning? How do they set their teams right? Where do they get this talent landscape, component brand, right? So very exciting. And I believe our 4 years old conversation talking about how Instahyre can come up with more intel, how it can empower talent leaders to kind of go face the business and become enablers, more than enablers, become a success factor for the business, right? So I think with this new report, had a glance of it, and I think amazing data analysis and the way you guys have kind of put up all the data together, and this really will help the talent leaders in terms of shaping, understanding the market, knowing what's happening, what are we paying, right? I'm quite excited, right? And thanks for getting me here.
Lovely to have you, Vijay, and thank you so much. Now on to our next leader. We have Samir. Samir is the head of global talent acquisition at Quantiphi. Samir brings around 10 years of experience in leading global talent acquisition, working across product and tech roles, and he knows exactly what it takes to scale teams fast and smartly. So, hi, Samir. Over to you. A bit of introduction about you and your journey.
Yeah, thank you, Sarabjit. First of all, good afternoon to everybody and a warm welcome to this roundtable and webinar. To share a quick snippet of my journey, I've spent a little over a decade in talent acquisition, touching upon campus recruitment. That's where I started my journey. Pivoted to lateral, quickly got a responsibility to manage rest of world geographies as well. So one of a kind journey, I would say. Within like 18 months, I was doing all three aspects of talent acquisition.
Okay.
I joined a company, which quantifies my current organization. I joined this when it was a 90 people startup. So scaling a 90 people startup, that too in an AI data space back in early 2017 to scaling it to 5,000 people organization today was one of a kind journey. Of course, a lot of turbulences that came my way, including that of internal, external. But yeah, great journey, especially given the space and the technology that we all are talking about today. And it has been interesting, and I'm looking forward to sort of pivoting the way forward for just not Quantiphi, but for the entire gamut of talent acquisition and HR.
Great. Lovely to have you, Samir. And next we have Praful. Praful is a global talent acquisition lead at Yellow.ai, and he has been hiring across markets, US, UK, Southeast Asia, and his focus has always been on building very high-performing global teams that align with business goals. So, Praful, over to you. A brief introduction about you, and thank you for joining in.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me here. First of all, good afternoon, everyone who have joined us live. A introduction. As you know, my name is Praful. I am in talent acquisition for more than a decade. I have worked with different set of companies, from product to services. I started my journey with services companies, but eventually landed in product companies. I worked for companies like Microsoft, Google. I also worked for high growth startups like Razorpay. And I moved into Licious, and currently I'm working with Yellow.ai as their global talent acquisition lead. I've been part of, I've seen, tech, non-tech hiring. I've been part of a campus hiring, leadership hiring. I've also run employer branding projects for multiple companies. And, for now, but like, as we're talking about this product tech PayCheck, I've gone through, the report, and everything looks very amazing in terms of, it will, as Vijay mentioned, will definitely help TA leaders to understand market in more, in more better way, and then probably understand the nuances around the salaries, and probably which will help us to negotiate better with the candidates.
Thank you so much, Praful, for the kind words. And we have our team member Aradhye, who has built this, the product tech PayCheck, and all the other team members who have helped him. So that's it. And let's start off with the main section. We have a few questions for you, and we'll go with the same sequence. So Vijay, we'll start with you. So my first question to you is, have we over-indexed on hiring speed at the cost of quality? Meaning that are we hiring too fast and forgetting about quality? So Vijay, your thoughts on this?
Definitely not is what I could definitely say, right? So quality is the key thing which makes any selection, right? No matter like the quantity of candidates you kind of position for a role, it's the quality which gets through, right? And say it's again a myth stating that when we are kind of hiring at a speed, we are kind of compromising the quality, right? Definitely not. I've worked with multiple product companies, and I've seen it's the quality of the talent which comes and transforms the job role into a productive, billable, or building a right product for their customers, right? It's not about just getting ahead and then billing for it, right? Say, gone are those days, like I believe while I started hiring 600s and 800s in a quarter kind of it, right? Now, the product companies hire not in that huge number, right? But it is all about the talent density, what you're building with the company. And there are multiple metrics that we kind of guided through to ensure the process is set for an outcome of quality hire. Indeed, forget about quality hire now. Yes, as you rightly said, there is a one over-indexing that we do is we say the top talent, right? So definition of the top talent is something which you'll have to sit through your business teams, understand what is required in the job role, define it properly, carve out it, right? And get the right person for the right role, right? You don't top talent for all the roles what is kind of indexed, right? It's about having the right person doing the right thing and with the right skill. And in the evaluation process, once you've set out that processes right, you have collaborated with your business teams, everyone are on the same page, it becomes much easier, right? Or else if there is any say wrong coordinations between or expectation mismatches, that is when we suffer and we kind of tend to hire around quality, right? So it's not the speed, it's about alignment.
Okay, great. So it's not the speed, it's about alignment. So Samir, your thoughts, I will come to you, Samir. So your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would second Vijay on that. I mean, we live in a world where AI acceleration and economic unpredictability is all-time high, right? And today's workforce dynamics are testing all HR playbooks that we knew or have got so far. And especially talent leaders are forced with a lot of expectations. We are expected to scale faster, hire better, and retain longer. So in these dynamic situations, I think it's not the speed, it's the scale and the relevance, as Vijay also mentioned. So it's not just about operational efficiencies at speed, it is also about how relevantly you're doing it within the frameworks and the criteria that you've got. So I won't say speed is impacting the quality. It may influence, but if you've got right levers in terms of people, process, tech, you can control any speed at any scale.
Great. Praful, your thoughts on this? Are we hiring too fast and forgetting about quality? Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I think I'll also second Samir and Vijay's opinion that
Okay.
we definitely don't compromise quality when
Mm.
when we want to hire fast.
Mm.
But I also want to mention this, probably an unpopular opinion, but we have observed this happening, right? Like this definitely happens with few organizations in different capacities, right? It might happen with particular region, it might happen with particular function, or even to a specific teams. And if you really deep dive and understand why actually this happens, right? And we have enough and more evidences that we have seen in terms of companies hiring quickly and then they're
Mm.
laying off people. This has primarily happened, after the COVID thing, right? Like basically after the COVID. During COVID, a lot of companies overestimated, their business growth and all of that. They've had a lot of people. And
Mm.
eventually, they have laid off people, stating that, you know, uh, we have hired people for a different economic situation, which is very different right now. So it's not necessarily about the speed, but the business dynamics are changing so rapidly, and that's playing a critical role, in terms of hiring people, uh, at different levels, right?
Okay.
So, if we really try and solve that, right, the companies sometimes, don't really, proactively plan their headcounts, right? And sometimes, founders are under immense pressure of growth, right? Because with the
Mm.
changing dynamics of businesses, they are also forced to, grow quickly, hire quickly,
Mm.
probably be ready for next round of, uh, you want to raise a next round of investment, and
Mm.
eventually that will help them to grow their money that they've invested, right? So sometimes these things happen, but I believe that probably the mindset of growing at any cost is changing now, and people are being companies are being very uh, they're being cautious about sustainable growth than just hiring at or maybe growing at any cost. Yeah,
Great.
And
Uh,
Praful, you brought in a very relevant point, right?
mm.
It's about scale, right?
Mm.
But it with relevancy.
yeah.
Mm.
So the scale and relevancy becomes, that's where the alignment comes in, right?
Yeah.
When the business has a right business forecast and they kind of been planned for it, speed becomes more an accelerator than a barrier, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and you have right talent framework set, and it is customized talent framework, right? One framework doesn't suit everything, right? For the speed and for the roles and for the criticality, you create
Mm.
that framework and you run through. See, this is something which I have seen it very closely. The leaders don't look at in that lens. They feel there
Mm.
is one talent acquisition team. They are paid to do this and let them execute it, right? That mindset doesn't help. There needs to be a customized strategy for each problem statement for different speeds, different levels, different complexities. So once you have those frameworks set, I think when speed becomes, as I said, it's an accelerator, not an barrier.
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. So let's move on to the next question. And next question we'll start with Samir. Samir, why are high performing technology candidates ghosting first final round interviews? Is there any specific reasons for that? And it's a question for many of the recruitment community members which we have. So I'll start with you, and then others will also. I will go to others. So yeah,
Yeah, of
over to
course,
you.
and it's an interesting topic to discuss, because there are no there's no one reason for which people are ghosting. There are several, and then there are few true reasons, and then there are some falsified reasons as well. I think lately it has become a market phenomena as well, right? So
Hmm.
people who never thought of ghosting out are also doing it because they see several folks around them from their network are also doing it. So it's a market phenomena, number one, I would say. Number two, it is a typical equation imbalance of demand versus supply, right?
Hmm.
For the right candidate with the right skills and with the right attitude and capability, demand is never a challenge, right? But the minute demand goes 3x, 5x, and the supply is limited, this is
Yes.
one side effect that we have faced as an industry. A couple of reasons to it. Of course, I think we ourselves are also fueling this in a way by uh, talking about counter offers, talking about accelerated hirings where we want the talent to join next day after the offer is rolled out, right? We are also sort of peripherally adding factors like remote working, runtime, some bonuses, etc. So these are all behavioral challenges that, as a side effect, we are facing as an industry. So I would say it's A, market phenomena, and B, it's because of the demand and supply issues that we have seen. And just not 1 year, but for the past consecutive 5 years, the way the cycle has changed. Earlier, we used to see the cycle used to shift with the periodic structure. Now, every year, the cycle is different. There's a quarterly influence as well with the cycle.
Okay, Praful, I will come to you. Your thoughts on this? Why are high performing, very good candidates dropping off at the last moment, and there is silence, complete silence, radio silence after that?
Yeah, I think, as Samir rightly said, I think ghosting is normal nowadays, right? And ghosting happens from both the ends. It happens from recruiters' end also. That's what people keep saying, right? And we cannot really ignore that fact. I think ghosting, see, primarily, if you really see the primary motivators, right? The situation was very different. If you really go back to COVID time, probably I mentioned this again and again, people were holding 5-6 offers. I spoke to a candidate who was holding 23 offers. And they're like,
23.
he might be interviewing for last 6 months only.
Achha.
And eventually he ended up joining an investment bank. I don't know why he joined, because he was holding offer from top-notch tech companies. But that I see that phenomenon is changing right now, because what I'm observing is, because of this shift that we are observing in AI, a lot of companies are not really sure about what is going to happen next, right? And they're not able to plan better on the basis of the dynamic changes that we are seeing, right? And because of that, there is a fluctuation in demand and also in supply. There are few candidates who comes with the top-notch skills like AI, ML, generative AI, or product managers who come with that kind of skill sets are in demand, and because everybody want to hire them. And it has become so easy that your product can be AI enabled just a matter of seconds, right? Like, if any product that you see, every company will say, hey, we are AI enabled. You'll just have a small part of your product that is AI enabled, but you'll say we are AI enabled. And because of that, this talent demand is searching specifically for this particular skill sets, and those people are holding multiple offers, right? I see a decline, in terms of the core suite talent, because that eventually people are anticipating that role might change basically the companies might change the framework by which, like, how they hire software engineers and the delivery that they expect from them, right? But these people who are holding multiple offers, they are expecting way more, right? Because if you're holding one offer with a good tech company, then you're talking to some other company which is more stable, which has raised around just now, and then you can expect more money from them, right? You also look for things like what kind of benefits people companies are offering. Like, people are becoming more demanding in terms of benefits, right? The 5 lakh of insurance coverage is not really enough for people anymore, right? People expect, oh, can I cover my parents? Can I cover my in-laws? All of those factors are playing a role, right? On a leadership front, people are talking about, so just offering ESOPs or RSUs are not enough. They're talking about, hey, can you accelerate my vesting? So all demands are also changing basis the talent that you're hiring, right? And I think companies need to keep up with it in case if you really want to get the top talent.
Great. So Vijay, I will come to you, but before that, I have a small audience poll to do. So I have a question for everyone who is watching. So very simple question. In your experience, what's the biggest reason offers are getting rejected these days? Is it number one, salary mismatch? Number two, expectations during interviews that don't match reality? Number three, counter offers from other companies? And number four, employer brand not landing well. So drop your answers in the comments. We'll check on your responses as we go. Okay. So over to you, Vijay. Your thoughts on this? Why are good tech folks dropping off?
See, there's not a recent problem statement. I believe when the day I got into recruiting, I had my first offer in my career, and that was a dropout. right? So,
Okay.
so that's how I started, Marin, with an hustle of having a dropout and then understanding where I went wrong. I think the learning was more evident. You see, you cannot predict a human mind. And when rightly Samir mentioned, right, it's a demand and supply theory. There is a competitive advantage. Part of it, they have their own storyline, they have their own problem statement, they have their own reasoning. Respect all that, right? So one thing I've seen is while I joined YML in the past, the problem statement the founders gave me is like 7:1. For one role, they had to roll out 7 offers to literally have one joining. Converting that into 1:1 took quite a saga of journey. And it happened with sheer attention to details about every individual who is getting into the interviews. Knowing them, making conscious efforts to understand the person, their need, their aspiration. That helped us to kind of customize even the benefit plans. That helped us to customize even the rounds of interviews, how it went about, right? So it's about, it's hyper customized world as of now, right? So if you have just a ready-made showroom kept there and someone to fit into the size of your seat, I don't think you'll get it, right? You will have to customize that seat for individuals, understand their potential, and make it happen for them. It's always about what is in there for me. You do any business you do, and even this is ultimately it's a business, right? So we are putting our efforts and time for someone else's business. That is again a business in turn. So understand the customer, know the customer better will help reduce the ghosting part. And I'm pretty sure 10 years back, one of my talent leaders whom I look up to, Geeta Ramesh, had told me, can you predict traffic? Why were you 5 minutes late today? It's the same way. You can't predict a dropout. And recruitment teaches one big strategy, which is always have a backup. Don't put your emotions. You should always have a backup.
You should always have a backup. Great.
And I'd like to add.
Please.
So sometimes I feel that, sometimes recruiting feels like investing in stock market. Like you do all of your analysis, you check every parameter, and then you invest. And later,
and then
you yourself at the other side of the table. So you should, I think I need to, we as a TA leaders need to educate our hiring managers, consider, hiring as a, it depends on market risk and consider all the parameters before hiring. So the disclaimer should go to people sometimes that, you can't really.
Praful, indeed, this is a much bigger impactful thing for the global leaders to invest in India, right? What happened during COVID, right? So, or post-COVID, the inflation market scenario really scared many investors to kind of come back and invest because they made offers to offers and none of them joined. And they could not figure out why, right? So it is a deeper economic impact on a country and the way global leaders look at a country. So one message to all the viewers or the candidates is, be honest. It's okay. If you're not happy, call it out. Sometimes it's okay at the offer level, state that, okay, I'm not happy and don't offer me when I'm not really happy about it. Have those candid conversations than ghosting. Ghosting is not the right way of being professional and also building long-term relationship, right? It's a small world, we'll meet each other. So always have that honesty and courage to kind of speak up what you want. And once you do, I believe a win-win equation will always fall into place.
Great. So we got the audience poll for the question we asked, what's the biggest reason? And almost everyone answered counter offers from other companies. I think that is the main reason. I think we were speaking of that.
Yeah.
And speaking of the next question, we have a very controversial, I suppose. Is employer branding becoming irrelevant or it's just evolving into something else? So I will have Praful to start off it first.
Yeah, so I believe, it can never be irrelevant, right? Maybe the content that you're using to, brand your company might change because, it is not really probably attracting people that, you have a pool table in your office, you have a fancy office, you have a free food, or you're, taking probably every month you're taking your team somewhere outside for a lunch or a dinner and all of that. That is not enough. And the reason is people are being very, people are educated now in terms of, they're very focused in terms of the career that they have, right? They'll have different parameters that they will assess, before they accept, or even before they think of applying to a company, right? So that you need to have a content which relates more to people that you want to attract, right? Because as an organization, you will eventually end up hiring people from different generations, right? You really need to understand what generation X is expecting from an employer, what millennials are expecting from employers, right? So you have to understand that fact, and then you can probably build a content around it or build your culture around it, and then you can attract those kind of people, right? Nowadays, if people, if you really want to hire a Gen Zs, right? They are looking for more transparency, more clarity, more. They are very focused on what we're expecting from me in this particular role. What's the North Star? How the career path look like? What are you expecting me to do so I can grow to a next level in a shorter span of time? People people want remote work for whatever reasons, right? They want that flexibility for their personal, they want to spend more time with their family, or they want to work remotely from whichever place that they want to work from. So you have to understand those nuances basis the talent demand that you have, and try and ensure that you culture revolves around that if you really want to attract that kind of talent to your organization.
Great. Vijay, your thoughts on this? Is employer branding becoming less important or just changing? Over to you.
I think it's just changing its facets, right? So I think many of the companies and the leaders had got it wrong, right? Like Praful called out, when it's not about the free food or when happy hours you take people out and boast about hiring one LGBTQ, put your entire logo into different colors. It's not about that, right? It's about, I could definitely say brand is all about quality, right? It can be quality of work, quality of life, quality of management, quality of policies, quality of benefits, right? So this is brand. Brand should always stand for quality, not about advertising it differently and having something else behind, right? I mean, the employee base is much smarter now, right? With the advent of glass doors to fish bowls to whatnot, people know what is happening behind those brand stories, right? So it's always good to be candid and honest. It's not about getting the title of great place to work, amazing place to work, or something else. Those, I don't think when people are getting any weightage, right? It's about how you're delivering quality to your customer, to your employee, way of things, right? It's the brand. And very few companies have got it right? I've seen very few companies kind of been boasting about what challenge they are solving for than worrying about the culture, what inclusion they're building in. Right? So these are bold steps, and I think we need leaders to come out with bold heart in terms of keeping the problem statement open out there and solving for it.
Understood. Samir, your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, Praful and Vijay have more or less covered. My couple of inputs there, thoughts would be, see, primarily in the tech environment, in today's ecosystem, we are hiring about 60-65% plus talent from Gen Z background, right? And they really look for meaningful experiences, right? They are there on social media. So of course, branding is important. But a lot of companies, as Vijay and Praful called out, are sugarcoating the elements of branding. And in that, they're also sort of forgetting what they actually have to brand and call out about. So I would say we should keep it as real as possible. It should actually reflect on your true values that you're known for as an organization. It should reflect the culture. That's what will help you attract the right talent. And it should call out things that you're genuinely trying to do and solve for as a company, and not just because there's a wave going on and several companies are doing it. You should also jump on and do as a company. That should not be done. That won't help you in long term for sure as an organization. So it is relevant, of course, if done right. It is a magic wand, can help you good time. in all the right directions.
Great. So we come to the last question of this segment. It's open for all who wants to take it first. So what's one outdated belief that about hiring that TA leaders seriously need to unlearn in 2025? One old belief about hiring that TA teams need to forget. Basically, in 2025.
So first,
The topmost I can call out, and
Huh.
TA leaders should stop believing they are TA leaders.
Okay.
They are business leaders, right? End of it, you are there for business. You will need to pull up the socks as a business leader. You will need to think from the CEO's hat, not as talent acquisition alone. It is not support or enabling function anymore. It is competitive advantage for the companies. I've run my own SaaS company and I know how critical is getting right people to the organization. And you need to understand what's happening with the customer. You need to understand what's happening with the business, what kind of strategies business is arriving at. That will help you create the right talent strategy and attract talent. So wear the hat of a CEO, not the TA leader anymore.
Okay.
yeah,
So
just
TA leader, not a TA leader. Huh, yeah. Okay.
yeah, just
So
adding to what Vijay said, as HR or talent leaders, we have earned the seat at CXO table, and it's not pretty recent. It's been there for a while, of course. I would say when you hire as an organization and not just as talent leaders or recruiting teams. One thing that you should forget is that the ideal match candidate exists, right? Don't run and go for it and invest your time or waste your time. Rather, look for somebody who fits 70-80% of aspects from the capability standpoint, from the learnability standpoint, and somebody who is looking forward to sharing your goals and visions, right? If that match is found, go for it. Don't look for ideal candidate.
lovely. Praful, your thoughts. Very interesting thoughts. Let me tell others.
Yeah, I think I'll echo what Vijay and Samir said, right? As Vijay rightly mentioned, you should not think that you are only a TA leader, right? You really need to wear a lens of CEO and understand what exactly is happening in business and build your talent strategies accordingly. And also, there are, some, we also need to educate to our hiring managers or our leaders in the way the market is changing, right? There are people who will keep thinking about, oh, okay, so if someone is job hopping, like someone is working for a company for 2-3 years and then moving to some other company, and you see that pattern, and then you build opinion about it. Hey, this person is a job hopper, right? And but if you really see, if you really go in depth and figure out, there might be genuine reasons that people hire, right? When it comes to startup environment, is mainly driven by the economic situation, right? We have seen a round of layoff. There are people who've joined companies and who moved out on the same day, right? And then people who joined, they were very excited, and then they got laid off in span of 6 months. What will you do about them? Will you say that they are job hoppers, or it's just a situation that they were in, right? So I think this is little outdated perception that people have, whether it's TA leaders or hiring managers, and I think that needs to be changed.
Great. So I was about to say we don't need diplomatic answers, but I think we got very sharp answers on that, and nobody did the diplomatic thing. So great job, guys. And I have the last question. This last question is very important. This is for all our job seekers, the millions of job seekers on our platform, but this is for them who have asked us, how can job seekers ask for referrals from TA and HR professionals online? Should they even do it? Anybody can take it.
I think I'll take that because I've built talent communities for the last 5 years, right? While the great resignations and the great layoffs happened post-COVID, right? I think this talent communities and talent leaders who came across unified really helped in terms of putting people to work or back to work who had lost their jobs through impact. There was some vulnerability created between the candidate pool and the talent leader pool, right? Till date, when I proudly claim, okay, when leading that initiative and employing at least 60% of the ones who got laid off at YML, right? So it's absolutely fine. I think we need to break that glass wall between stating candidate and think I'm a candidate elsewhere, right? While I'm a talent leader too. So it's the both sentiments that we carry. Ultimately, I think it is to have a heart being a HR, not about just using your brain, right? And having that heart and helping anyone, it's always okay to reach out. Sometimes you might not get response. That doesn't mean that you have been ignored. It's just that sheer time and effort that needs to come, right? So I think talent leaders, one thing I would definitely call out is, no matter what the feedback is, please share those feedback and be candid there, right? So that will help build long-term relationship, right? And do respect that, and that will come a long way.
Great. I think a lot of good things from Vijay. Praful and Samir, your thoughts on this for the candidates, for the job seekers?
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
All right. So see, I believe, in which ways, candidates reach out to all the recruiters or TA leaders asking for opportunities. And that is fine, right? Eventually, if I can really say this, they're getting paid to find a good talent for a company, right? And if you feel that you are relevant for a role, if you can add value to organization, you should definitely reach out without a second thought. Now, as Vijay has built the talent communities and all, companies are also coming up with, a proactive hiring approach, and they're also building communities for a specific functions or specific roles and all where they face challenge. So you can be part of those communities, and eventually you will get a call from a recruiter, if they find you relevant for that particular opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, my thoughts are on the same lines, Sarabjit. I think it's a big yes. Everybody should do. Few thoughts around that would be, as a candidate, you should really refine the kind of work, role, company you want to go for. And there are several ways of reaching out to organizations, recruiters, including that of the tools that we use, like social media, etc. So leverage them, and they should, of course, reach out. Don't overdo it. Choose your, like, say, top 5 companies and identify right set of people and tools. And with the right intent, I am sure you will get attention and right conversations to it. Right. So
One disclaimer there would be professional. I've seen a couple of students writing, "Bro, I'm looking for this role." Right. So Goodman say maybe that's the Gen Z, but some professional, some formal. But that keeps them in an amicable way of doing things.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other things which you want to have here, or we can move on to the next part? I think we can. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now comes the most interesting part of this conversation, where we have some fun. So this is the rapid fire round, and I will be asking them very interesting and situational questions. You need to answer whatever comes first in your mind. Okay. And we might consider a hamper, just like we have a lot of talk shows out there. But let's start off. With Praful. So Praful, are you ready? I will shoot the questions now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. First question: vada pav or masala dosa? What's your midnight snack order?
It's definitely vada pav.
Vada pav. Okay. Your boss calls at 11 p.m. Your answer, or pretend you're asleep. You will answer, or you will pretend to be asleep.
No, it depends. If I'm awake, I'll pick up. Otherwise, I'll talk to
him. Okay.
For that day.
So, in a world where calories doesn't exist, what will you have? Cheese burst pizza or chocolate? Banana mango sundae for ice cream? So, any options for, which will you choose?
Yeah, I'd like to have a chocolate, but probably I'll go with banana.
Okay, sure. If you could be invisible for 2 hours, where are you sneaking into and what are you taking?
Oh, I had to think about this. Probably sitting in candidates' room and figuring out why they are declining our offers.
Okay. Okay. First, flights delayed by 3 hours. Will you binge watch shows or watch people at the airport?
I can do both. Probably I'll read a book.
Read a book. Okay. So the last one is you magically get 5 extra days off and 2 lakh rupees. What would you do? Anything which comes in your mind first.
Oh, invest.
Invest. Okay. Very practical with Praful. And the next, I will ask Samir for the rapid fire. Samir, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Great. Samir, what's your favorite street food combo?
Street food combo, pani puri.
Pani puri. Okay. Chai break with friends or solo coffee with quiet environment?
Chai break with friends and team for sure.
For sure. Okay. If you could sneak into any office in the world for a day, which one are you picking? Whose office will you pick?
Okay, I would pick Prime Minister's office.
Okay. Okay. Your boss calls at 11. Answer or suddenly bad network?
I don't think I'll have an option. I'll answer.
It rains on a Sunday afternoon. What's your plan? If it rains on a Sunday afternoon, what's your plan?
Get on road with family and enjoy the weather.
Enjoy the weather. Okay. Pizza, dal chawal, or sleep? What fixes a bad day fastest for you?
Yeah, dal chawal and some family time.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you so much, Samir, for the candid answers. I will move on to the next one. Vijay. Vijay, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Biryani or idli? What wins lunch on a tough day?
Idli all time.
Idli. Great. 5 a.m. sunrise or 2 a.m. brainstorming? When are you most switched on?
5 a.m. sunlight with cycling with my son in GKVK. Yeah.
Okay. Great. If you could be invisible for 2 hours, one thing you would secretly do?
Definitely would want to visit Modi ji's office, like Samir said, right? So God knows when the man gets so much energy, right? So where does he get from, right? We'll find out that secret.
Both of you will go to the same place. Okay, great. You magically get 10 days extra off. So will you visit Maldives, Manali, or hibernate at home?
I would visit Puri Jagannath, right? So, none of this.
Okay. Okay. Are office meetings better with snacks or without snacks? Be honest.
Samosa goes anytime, right? And with little when side dishes will make it even better. An escalated meeting with rasgullas will come out with better results.
So it is starters and desserts. Okay. Okay. So biggest distraction while working from home?
I think it's mobile phone, right? So when setting up that operating rhythm and sticking to it will give you deep focus at work. Or else the shorts and the Netflix, everything will keep drawing your attention.
Lovely. So this is a wrap from all of us, and it has been great having you guys, Vijay, Praful, and Samir. And huge thanks to all of you who have joined us from the audience and also to the speakers. The product tech check is live now, and we can use your energy to recalibrate the hiring strategy and avoid costly rejections, stay competitive in the market. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care, have fun. Last thoughts from and all of you. So how did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the show, and your thoughts on this on the launch?
Well, I believe this is a right step. I would rather, my expectations is much higher now with Instahyre. Although we did like more than 40-50% of complete direct hires through your platform, this sets us apart, right? So this is more a leadership initiative, not transactional or operational, right? So look forward for more of this to empower us to look good in front of the business and put the right data and put the right strategies to them.
Thank you, Vijay. Samir and Praful, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I think great job with such reports. I think such insights only enables us to pivot faster and hire talent better. And as a data company, we all enjoy data and all facts and figures. When we have checked in one place, it only helps us have better conversations with our stakeholders too. So great job, I would say, there from the entire Instahyre team. And I'm looking forward to more such insightful events and reports in future.
Thank you, Samir, for the kind words.
Perfect. So thanks a lot for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation. And what's definitely the product that you guys have launched? I'm really looking forward to have a meaningful conversations with the candidates and hiring managers using that.
Lovely. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Take care. Have fun. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.